Hi, I'm Jakira Black, and this is a impromptu book haul for the ebooks and audiobooks that I've got in the last month. There are quite a few of them. I haven't spent loads of money. I've spent £15 altogether. The reason for that is the Kindle books, some of them were free through Kindle Unlimited, and obviously you can get very cheap ebooks as well. So yeah, and then the Audible books, I sent some back because there's just some books that just don't work as audiobooks, I think. For instance, one of them that I sent back was Illuminate, which I do intend to get in physical form, but I just couldn't get into it because it was just like, nah, don't like this. So I sent it back and got my credits back, and I got 2 credits and I got some money. I think I sent another book back as well, and then I contacted them because I'd noticed that some of my audiobooks that I've bought in the past weren't appearing on my Kindle, but they were appearing in my library online, but I couldn't download them onto my Kindle. So I contacted them and they sent me 3 credits, which, like, I had more problems than just 3, and to be quite honest, I would have much rather they just sorted it out. But they sent me 3 for Gino Mule books, and I thought I could get the Gino Mule books, but I've got them in paperback. So I thought, no, actually, I'm going to use those for other books, and that way, you know, I can get some nice books. Plus, I have got a contract with Audible, an account with Audible, and I spend £8 a month if I don't put myself on a holiday or something. So I got my credit for this month as well. So that's where so I got 6 altogether, I think it was, maybe 7. Plus I had some credit as well. So yeah, so one of the reasons why I'm doing this video now is that I've actually been listening to the audiobooks and really enjoying them, but I thought if I do it now, then I'm not going to be thinking that, you know, oh, I should tell them first because otherwise it's cheating. Well, it's not cheating because, like, you know, I mean, as soon as I get the library books, I will be starting reading them before I do a haul, because you only have, you know, a short time to read them in, and even though you can renew them, if they're a popular book and someone else reserves them, then they have to go back. So anyway, my first audiobook today that I'm going to talk about is Empress of the Thousand Skies by Rhoda Belleza. Now I've got here, now I've read this one. I liked it. Basically it's about a princess and her parents and her sister were killed, and her kingdom has been ruled as on a regency until she became an adult, and she's just about becoming an adult, and then stuff happens, and yeah. So it says here, the blurb on Goodreads says, Crown Princess Rhiannon wants vengeance. The only surviving heir to the ancient Calusian dynasty, Rhi has spent her life training to destroy the people who killed her family. Now, on the eve of her coronation, the time has finally come for Rhi to claim her throne and her revenge. So yeah, but problems happen. And yeah, it's a good book, and I do recommend it. I read it, well, listened to it in just over a day. I did put it on fast speed some of the time, on a 3 level, because sometimes I just get bored with Audible books when they just go so slowly. So I do tend to sort of like do it at 2, or at least a 1.5 speed, if not a 2 or even a 3. So anyway, next up is, and I've read this book as well, I finished it today, and it's called First Life by Gina Showalter. And basically it's about a girl called Tenley, who's an average 17-year-old, but she spent the last 13 months locked inside an asylum, because the world of First Life is very different to ours. It's a world where there is knowledge of what's going to happen after death. You know, the sort of like, there's these 2 afterlife kingdoms, and they compete for humans, and she's put in an asylum because her father wants her to go with one, and she doesn't want to decide. So she's put in the asylum to try to force her to decide the way that her father wants her to decide. But there's, like I said, there's 2 rounds, Troika and Myriad, and they're long-time enemies and deadly rivals, and they'll do anything to recruit 10. So, and I did really like this book. Yeah, I really liked it. It was very interesting, and it was a fun story. It was a different take on sort of like the afterlife as well, and yeah, I liked it. So okay, so next up is, this is an old one, and I've actually read this a long time ago, when I was well, see, when I was a kid, my dad had a lot of these books, and I read them, and it's a long time since I've read any of them, and I thought, well, I'll get it as an audiobook and I listened to it, and yeah, because I really enjoyed them when I was a kid. And this is the first book in the Barsoom series, A Princess of Mars by Edgar Rice Burroughs. I think this is John Carter of Mars. He's human and he ends up on Mars, and yeah, I can't really remember that much about the story. I just know that he ends up on Mars, and yeah, and meets Martians and sort of joins their civilization, and sort of and sort of like helps them. So yeah, I will get around to that sometime soonish, hopefully. Okay, next up is The Kiss of Deception by Mary E. Pearson. I'm actually reading this at the moment. I've only just started though. It's about a princess, and she doesn't want to get married, so she runs away, and that's where I've got up to. So it's like, I'm sort of like 4% in on Audible. It says here about it, the blurb on Goodreads says, a princess must find her place in a reborn world. She flees on her wedding day. She steals ancient documents from the Chancellor's secret collection. She is pursued by bounty hunters sent by her own father. She is Princess Leia, 17, first daughter of the House of Morrigan. The kingdom of Morrigan is steeped in tradition and the stories of a bygone world. But some traditions Leah can't abide, like having to marry someone she's never met to secure a political alliance. Fed up and ready for a new life, Leah flees to a distant village on the morning of her wedding. She settles in among the common folk, intrigued when two mysterious and handsome strangers arrive, and unaware that one is the jilted prince, and the other one an assassin sent to kill her. Deceptions swirl, and Leah finds herself on the brink of unlocking perilous secrets, secrets that may unravel her world even as she feels herself falling in love. So, yeah, I am pulled in very much by this story. Like I said, I've only just started reading it, but I am definitely enjoying it. So far, it is an easy read, and it's fun, and it's a fantasy, and yeah, I like it. So next up is Nevernight by J. Kristoff. J. Kristoff co-wrote Illuminae, but I won't hold that against him. No, I am going to read Illuminae. I just didn't like it Audible. So I don't actually know anything about this, even though I've ordered it. I've got it on credit, on a credit. So yawning again, because that's what comes of doing videos at 10:30 at night. The blurb on Goodreads says, in a land where three suns almost never set, a fledgling killer joins a school of assassins seeking revenge against the powers who destroyed her family. Daughter of an executed traitor, Mia Corvée is barely able to escape her father's failed rebellion with her life. Alone and friendless, she hides in a city built from the bones of a dead god, hunted by the Senate and her father's former comrades. But her gift for speaking with the shadows leads her to the door of a retired killer and a future she never imagined. Now Mia is apprenticed to the deadliest flock of assassins in the entire Republic, the Red Church. If she bests her fellow students in the contest of steel, poison and the subtle arts, she will be indicted among the blades of the Lady of Blessed Murder and one step closer to the vengeance she desires. But a killer is loose within the church's halls. The bloody secret of Mia's past returns to haunt her, and a plot to bring down the entire congregation is unfolding in the shadows she so loves. Will she even survive to initiate, let alone have her revenge? So that sounds really cool. Obviously it's about a female assassin, and she's I'm going to get around to it. I keep saying that I've got so many books, I need to stop buying them, I really do, but there's like, oh, books. It's just like, I really like books. So next up is Dream a Little Dream by Kirsten Gay. And the blurb for this is, mysterious doors with lizard head knobs, talking stone statues, a crazy girl with a hatchet. Yes, Liv's dreams have been getting pretty weird lately, especially the one where she's in a graveyard at night, watching four boys conduct their dark magic rituals. The strangest part is that Liv recognises the boys in her dream. They're classmates from her new school in London, the school where she's starting over because her mum has moved them to a new country again. But what really scaring Liv is that the dream boys seem to know things about her real life, things they couldn't possibly know unless they actually are in her dreams. Luckily, Liv never could resist a good mystery, and all four of these boys are pretty cute. So I read that and I thought, yeah, I want that one. That sounds cool. That sounds really cool. So yeah. Let's see. Next up is the Night Circus by Erin Morgenstein. I think, if I'm right, she has done Nano in the past. I might be wrong, but I think she has. I don't know that much about it. I know it's about a circus that just appears one day it's not there and the next day it is. The blurb is, the circus arrives without warning. No announcements precede it. No paper notices plastered on lampposts and billboards. It is simply there when yesterday it was not. So yeah, and obviously there's more blurb that I could read, but you can look it up yourself and see if it's a book that you'd actually want to read. So next up is another circus book. This is by Amanda Hockin, and I've read books by her before, and this is called Freaks. And the blurb says, in a world of magical visions and pyrokinesis, Mara just wants to have a normal life. But is that possible? Mara has become used to the extraordinary, roaming from place to place with Gideon Davorin's travelling carnival. She longs for an ordinary life where no one has the ability to levitate or predict the future. She gets her chance when the struggling sideshow sets up camp in the small town of Caudry, and she meets a gorgeous local guy named Gabe. But before long, Mara realises there is a dark presence lurking in town, threatening the lives of her friends. She has 7 days to take control of a power she doesn't know she has had in order to save everyone she cares about and change the future forever. So yeah, there's a lot of circus books come out recently, because obviously my last haul I did Caraval, talked about Caraval, showed you that book, which I still haven't read, because I just haven't read it. So I'm yawning again. So yeah. Let's see. There's this one, which is okay. This is Don't Even Think About It by Sarah Minoski. Sorry for the destroying of name. And the blurb is, we weren't always like this. We used to be average school at New York City high school sophomores. Until our homeroom went for flu shots, we were prepared for some side effects. Maybe a headache, maybe a sore arm. We definitely didn't expect to get telepathic powers. But suddenly we could hear what everyone was thinking. Our friends, our parents, our crushes. Now we all know that Tess is in love with her best friend Teddy, that Mackenzie cheated on Cooper, that, Nurse Carmichael used to be a stripper. Oh, can you imagine that? If you could hear people's thoughts, it would be absolutely horrendous. So, at least they wouldn't be able to deceive you. So, yeah. So, I'm going to now talk about the ebooks that I've got. So first up, and I have actually got this on an Audible book already, and I've just not got around to reading it, but I got the first Outlander on ebook, so I can listen to it and read it at the same time. For those that don't know, it's centered around Claire Randall, who lives just after the Second World War, and she finds a portal into the past, into I think it's 1743, where she meets a man called Jamie, and it's a romance, and it's sort of like, and there is the TV series, which I've watched the first 2 series of, but I just want to read the actual book. I did try a few years ago, and I just couldn't get into it because at the time it was like, she's married, she can't go back into the past because and have a relationship with another man because she's married. I don't like that. You know, whereas if she hadn't been married, I would have been like, oh yeah, this is really cool. But now I'm like, because I've watched the series, you know, and know how she feels about Jamie, you know, it's sort of like, she's married to Jamie. She needs to go back into the past and get away from Frank. Poor Frank. So yeah. So next up is the second book of the First Life series, which I've just finished today on Audible. I've got the ebook called Lifeblood by Gina Showalter. I'm not going to tell you anything about it because I don't know anything about what happens in this story, and plus obviously it's the second book and I've told you about the first one, but yeah, I'm going to read that soon because I did really like First Life. It was amazing. So next is Halfblood by Jennifer L. Armentrout, and the blurb is the Hermitoi descend from the unions of gods and mortals, and the children of the two Hermitoi, purebloods, have godlike powers. Children of Hermitoi and mortals, well, not so much. Half-bloods only have two options: become trained sentinels who hunt and kill demons, or become servants in the homes of the pure. 17-year-old Alexandria would rather risk her life fighting than waste it scrubbing toilets, but she ends up slumming it anyway. There are several rules that students at the Covenant must follow. Alex has problems with them all, but especially Rule 1. Relationships between pure and halves are forbidden. Unfortunately, she's crushing hard on the totally hot pureblood Aiden, but falling for Aiden isn't her biggest problem. Staying alive long enough to graduate the Covenant and become a Sentinel is. If she fails in her duty, she faces a future worse than death or slavery, being turned into a demon and being hunted by Aiden. And that would kind of suck. So this one was only £1, and I just saw it and I was like, oh, I think I'm pretty certain I've heard of her before. So yeah, I wanted to read that, so I got it. So next up is The Idiot by Fyodor Dostoevsky. I think this is a Russian book. It's quite an old one. Someone on this author thing on Facebook did a quiz of what character you are you in Russian classical literature, and I came up as a character from this book. So I thought, well, I'll get that and I'll see what it's like and I'll try to read it, and if I like it, I'm going to be making you all yawn, and if I don't like it, then I will DNF it. Okay, so I've got here on the Facebook thing that I just said about, the lady that did that quiz asked questions. I think it was actually I answered about the character that I was, and so I got she sent me her first 2 books, which are called Midnight Land Part 1, The Flight, and Midnight Land, if I can find it, Midnight Land Part 2 The Gift, and they're by E.P. Clarke. I actually did, I pulled up all the information for the books that I've read so I could read them to you, and I forgot to do it for this one, so I've just got it on now. Honourable mention, Fantasy 2015 Indie Fab Book of the Year Awards. As the younger sister to the Empress of all of Zem, and the only one possessing her foremother's gift of clairvoyance, Slava is both one of the most powerful and powerless people in the known world. Desperate to escape the intrigue and hostility of her sister's Kremlin, Slava takes off on an expedition to the Midnight Land, the uninhabited, unmapped tundra on the northern edge of Zem. But as she travels north, Slava discovers that there is more than just the world of women that covet her gifts, and that fate is pushing her to become a most unlikely hero. Combining high fantasy with motifs from classical Russian literature, this is both a gripping coming-of-age tale and a subversive exploration of gender, empathy and morality. So, and it is available on Amazon, so if you want those books, I said to her that, because she was giving me for free, that I would hoard them, and I will get round to them one day. Just so many books to read. So the rest of the books are, I've got this one, which has become a YouTube superstar, and I think that pretty much speaks for itself. I'm not going to describe what it says. And then I've got these books, which are just self-editing books, which I got through Kindle Unlimited. So yeah, so that's my ebook and Audible books haul. I am waiting for the library I've ordered quite a few books from the library, my local library, and I'm waiting for them to come in. So far 6 have come in, but I haven't been to get them yet because I'm just waiting for some more to come in, and also because some of the ones that have come in are like second books, and I've ordered the first one as well, and I really want to get the first one first. Plus I've actually got I think I've got about 15 books that I've bought this month again. As well as these Audible or ebooks. I've got 14 behind me. I've also got a library book, but I will be doing a library book haul separate, and then I'll be doing a book haul for these books. I've got one waiting to come. So yeah, and I really need to do work on my masters because I've got an assignment due soon, and I seem to be reading all the time instead. But I love reading. It's like just amazing. There's some amazing stories out there. So yeah. Okay. See you next time. Bye.